All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Eat at Joe's. Today, we do not have my co host, Jake, but we do have our very first guest, Morgan, from the stream. Everyone, welcome,
Woot.
Morgan. All right. First off, everyone wants to know what is your snack of choice for tonight?
Tonight I've got a couple of those, little oranges that are super easy to peel and they're super sweet,
Very nice.
and and some kettle corn.
Ooh, all right, okay. I can respect that. I love myself some tangerines, whatever the fuck they're called.
Right.
I myself am having some Jolly Ranchers because I just ate some dinner.
Right on.
All right. So, on the topic of food, since we're already talking about it, what
Mm-hmm.
is your favorite food ever, Mr. Morgan?
It's a tie between coffee cake
Ooh, okay.
and quiche.
Quiche. Okay, now for those of us that are listening and don't really know what a quiche is.
It's basically like an egg bake with a pie crust.
Okay. That sounds pretty good, honestly. I'd eat the
Yeah,
fuck out of that.
for sure, for sure.
Like, is there anything like inside it, or is it literally just egg and crust?
You can put all sorts of things inside it. You can go with like mushrooms and sausage, or you can just do like a cheese blend, or whatever you want.
Okay, very nice. What do you usually have in there?
Sausage for sure.
Okay. Are you a,
Definitely.
a, a fairly picky eater? Do you not like things that like spinach or like stuff like that?
No, no, I'll eat whatever.
Okay.
So like spinach and feta on a quiche is really good. It's usually kind of like just layered on top.
Okay. Now what? I've never had feta cheese. Is that
What,
is
bro?
yeah? Is that like the crumbly stuff that a lot of like Greek stuff has?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of dry and crumbly.
Okay. Okay, then I might have had it because I like gyros, however you want to pronounce them. I like those a lot.
Mm-hmm. Same, dude. I love me some euros.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I think I have a couple questions that we can go through. I have just sort of a list of things we can run through, but this is really sort of just a conversation of friends. Like my motto of the podcast is going to be just friends talking for friends listening. And
Mm-hmm.
so everyone who's listening, just go ahead, grab a snack, and we'll just sort of dive into some stuff. Um, so you and Sam are living together, and you guys have known each other for how long?
Let's see. It would be over 8 years now.
8 years. Wow. Okay, so where did you guys meet? When did this meeting happen?
Um, we met in St. Paul, Minnesota,
Okay.
and I actually met her on OkCupid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Way, yeah, way back in the day when OkCupid was all there was. That was free. Everything else was like it was like online paid dating services.
Right.
There was no Tinders, no swiping left and right.
None of that eHarmony stuff. Well,
No.
like it was all eHarmony. It was all like pay for play stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It was like eHarmony and like Match.com, and that was about it.
Right.
And being a introverted shut-in, I'm not about to go to the bar and meet people.
Especially going to bars is just sort of awkward. Especially if you're not like going with a group of people, and even then, you don't want to like leave your group of people to go talk to someone.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm not a very much of a drinker,
Okay.
so it's like, I can't, rely on the liquid courage that other people can.
Sure. Sure. May I ask why you don't drink, or is it just sort of a personal choice?
It's a combination of personal choice and health factors.
Gotcha. Understandable. Um, as you probably heard last night, I drink a lot on occasion.
Right.
on occasion. All right, I'll take a picture of the bottle. I think I threw it away already. All right, I might send a picture later of the bottle I was drinking, but it was like it's not like a regular wine bottle. It was like a gallon wine bottle, and I had like 3/4 of it left.
So it's like a 1.5 liter.
Yeah, something like that. And I drank that whole
Christ.
thing last night
You're a maniac.
by myself. I don't usually drink by myself. The only time I drink by myself is when we're playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, that was the very first time I actually got like super drunk was St. Patrick's Day, and I was playing Xbox with Jake and a bunch of other people, and they were drinking. So I was like, okay, I'll start drinking. And that was the I've never thrown up while drinking, but I got very close that night.
Oh God.
um, so you don't if you do you drink occasionally?
I mean, if the circumstance is like say I go out for a date,
Okay.
which happens very rarely, but say say I go out on a date and it's customary for first date, especially like an online date, you
Right.
go to the bar.
Right.
Everyone goes to the bar. That's just where you go for your first date because it helps everyone involved feel more comfortable.
Right.
So I will, have like something light on the alcohol content, like a cider,
Okay.
or maybe I might have like a really dark beer,
All right.
but I'm not going for like whiskey sours or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, now if you're on a date like that, what's a drink that like the girl would order that like if she ordered it that would be like, okay, I don't know what I'm in for tonight.
Yeah.
What kind of drink like that? Because I've never gone to like a bar. I've gone to the bar once for a date, and it was like not even a bar. It was like a hangout place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say if she goes for shots right off the bat, or if she gets one of those like giant like mixed drinks with like tons of sugar and like salt around the rim and all that shit,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know what your idea of tonight is going to be.
How wasted do you want to get on this first date?
Right. It's like, are you just trying to like, you just saw me and you're immediately just like, I gotta get super drunk just to get through this? Like, what's going on? Like, what's the motivation there? Or maybe she just had a really rough day.
Yeah.
And her mind isn't even on the fact that we're having a first date. Like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
There's too many questions there.
Too many variables to go into it.
Right.
Okay.
But say for example, she like got like a nice glass of wine. It's like, that's cool. Like, I can respect that. She just wants to like chill, sip some wine, have a nice conversation.
Sure.
That's cool. Same thing with like if she gets like some craft beer.
Okay. Okay. Now this is everyone has like their own types of beer, but like I know a lot of people that hate Natty Light. If she orders a Natty Light, what do you do?
Dude, I don't even know a bar where you can get Natty Light. Like, I've literally only seen Natty Light like at like where people are like drinking around a campfire. That's the only time that I've seen that beer.
They don't even sell it. It just sort of appears when a bonfire is lit.
Yeah, that and on the boats of fishermen.
Do you go on boats often?
No, but well, I mean, I live in Minnesota, so there's literally lakes and fishermen everywhere. You can't leave the city and go to a gas station without seeing some dude throwing beer into his boat.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, that sounds like a pretty good time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would agree with you.
I don't. I mean, there's been a couple times I've been to lakes, but like, we used to go to Florida every year for our family vacation during the summer, and we'd go to Daytona Beach, which nowadays like I look at that and I'm like, oh my god, like that's where like all the hicks go, but like, But when I was going there, we'd just go to this like little. Uh, it was like an 8 bedroom motel. Like there was only 8 rooms, and I think we filled up like 6 out of the 8 rooms whenever we went there. Like my entire family, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. It was right on the beach, but I never went like on a boat out there because I was so scared that I'd get seasick. Like I've never been on the sea, so I don't know if I'd be seasick or not. But I
Right.
just would never get on.
Hmm.
All right, that leads us into. I think we got a little bit off of the date thing, but what is your like? Whenever you are on Tinder or any of these matchup sites, like what's your least favorite? Like you say your opening message or whatever. What's your least favorite response?
Um, will probably my least favorite response would have to be no response.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um, if if they don't like what I said or if they're just uninterested, say that.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can respect that. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
We don't know each other.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, one word responses really get on my nerves.
Okay. What's
Like,
like the worst one you've gotten?
as a response,
Yeah.
typically what I go for is an opener to, kind of explain why my answer is what it is. What I
Okay.
go for as an opener is I ask them some like hypothetical. Like one I've been going to recently is like if you could live in any fictional world for the
Okay.
rest of your, or if you had to live in a fictional world for the rest of your life, be it from a film or a book or whatever,
Right.
which would it be? And I just hate it when they're just they don't really talk about like how they came to the conclusion or anything. They're just like Harry Potter. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. They're like, okay, now there's a lot of there's a lot of things in Harry Potter. Like why
Yeah,
Harry
like
Potter?
yeah, it's like don't get me wrong, like Harry Potter, great answer.
Hmm.
But everyone says Harry Potter and it it gives me nothing to go off of
Right.
conversation wise.
There's
Unless you say like what house would you want to be in or what kind of role would you play?
yeah. It's it's like uh there's like the reasons of, do you want to be a witch or a wizard? Like who doesn't want to be a witch or wizard?
Right.
Like let's be honest
I
there.
mean,
But
and it's fine. It's like I can, ask a bunch of questions and get that out of them, but I prefer not to have to.
right.
Like,
You want
help me have this
to
conversation with you.
it's very hard to if they don't give you that leg up, that next
Right.
step.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. I think I don't know. Jake had a very I don't know if you were in there last night about the chick with Chick-fil-A. He was talking to a girl on I think it was Hinge or something. And she like her very first message to him was I just got off of work and got my fat ass to Chick-fil-A. And like obviously that's a pretty solid first message, right?
Oh, for
Like
sure.
that she's obviously self-deprecating to the point of like this is funny. Like
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, someone's calling themselves out for being fat ass right off the bat. It's like,
they're
they
comfortable
can, yeah, they're comfortable and they got a good sense of humor.
for sure. He writes back trying to be playful, where's mine? Like that's a pretty standard like if you're going to talk about like getting food, that's a pretty standard response.
For sure.
Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, go for it." And he did that and she just writes back, "You didn't tell me."
That's what's up. That's what's up. Just
Like
playing the game. I like it.
that's like it. And we're like, okay, well, like it started out great, but this next one, there's not much to go off of. And
Right.
I can't remember what we were saying. I think we were talking about like you should say, well, my usual, like just keep going on this Chick-fil-A thing until it's dead, and just go. Well, my usual is like the spicy chicken sandwich, and just keep it going as long as that thing will last.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't.
That's super funny though.
Yeah. it's always disheartening when you get that first message and you're like, okay, she actually wants to talk, and then
Hmm.
I don't know if I like it worse if they just like if it starts off nice and you're just like a couple word answers after that, but or if like they just stop talking altogether. Like I can't. I like you said you like if they just said I'm not really interested. Let's just sort of like cut it off. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they like if you either do that or just stop talking. Don't try and drag it out. Just be nice and trying to be nice about it.
Yeah. It's like if you're gonna just like ignore it, just unmatch me. Like,
Right.
you know, it's like just it seems super rude to just like completely ignore a message.
Right. That's true. And then if they like unmatch, then you don't have the opportunity to send that awkward double text.
Right. Yeah, I always feel like so like if we've been talking for a while and then it just stops,
Hmm.
I hate having to be the one to reinitiate conversation.
Right. I never know what to say unless it's just like starting up a brand new conversation.
Yeah, and it's basically like what you have to do, I feel.
If you wait like a week and a half and then try and pick up the same conversation, they're either A gonna not know what they were talking about, or B just say like, all right, this dude is just trying to get in my pants too hard.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way.
uh, Bitches be crazy, man. All right, so I've seen you play a lot of Skyrim lately, but I need to know what's your favorite video game you have ever played and why?
Ever.
Ever.
Wow. Uh,
It's a loaded question. I know.
yeah, because it's like there's so many fantastic games that I've played.
I feel like everyone has that one game though that they're just like, I could go back to this at any point and be just as happy when I first started it.
Hmm. Skyrim is definitely up there.
Okay.
But as far as games that I could always, well, I mean, man, that's tough. Because normally I would say my favorite game of all time would have been one of the first games that I ever played as a kid, which was Super Mario Brothers 3,
Okay.
which was for the NES,
Mhm.
and my favorite part was, you got the Tanuki suit, you've got the
Mhm.
boot, and you've got the one that turns you into a statue. Like all those, like just make the game so much fun.
That was the first game that those appeared to, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was the first game that appeared. Because Super Mario Brothers 2 was a weird game, um, and it had a lot of things in it that just never really came back, like
Yeah.
like pulling the radishes out of the ground and
Oh,
throwing it,
that's
and
right.
stuff like that.
You could play Peach in that one, couldn't you?
Yes, you could play Peach, Mario and Luigi, and Toad.
That's right. That was a weird one. I felt
Yeah,
like
it was a weird one. It was a fun game, but weird.
I felt like they were like, okay, well, we made the first one where we rescued Peach, but like, let's make her playable, and then
Hmm.
they just abandoned that concept altogether.
Yeah, exactly. They did eventually make her playable again. I think maybe it was 3D Land, the first one that they where you could play Peach
Yeah, I
again.
think so.
But it was only I think it might be only as player two.
Right. If it was like a multiplayer one, I think initially you'd only given Mario, but
Mm.
yeah. Did you ever play? I think it was. Uh, I don't know. I can't remember if it was the first one for the Wii or not. But the one where you could play like four players and like have two Toads and Luigi with you,
Oh, I think you're thinking of New Super Mario Brothers.
something
New
like
Super
that.
Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You like shake
Yeah,
the remote and like propel yourself up.
Yeah, that game is super fun, especially when you've got like three other people to play with at the same time.
Right.
Because it's like you're playing together, but you're kind of like competing,
Hmm.
and you could like knock people down into the holes and
Right.
do all sorts of fun stuff.
Ruin friendships, the best.
Yeah. Quit knocking me in the hole. I keep dying and it's all your fault.
Get better at the game.
Yeah. Get good.
Get good, son. All right, so you got Skyrim that's up there. Super Mario 3. Are you gonna go with
Hmm.
that one?
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I think the first time I played that, it was like on um a Super Nintendo like recall or like callback, and it had like a bunch of different Mario games on it.
Oh yeah, that was probably Super Mario All Stars.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the first like video game console I ever had. It was a Super Nintendo.
All right.
It was something my dad doesn't play video games at all, but he got super hella good at Out to Lunch. Have you ever played that one?
No, I don't think I've even heard of that.
It's like a I can't remember. Uh, like I've talked to a lot of people about it, and that's a lot of people don't know. It's probably like some indie game that came out like before indie games were even a thing, but like he played that all the time. It was like a platformer. You were a chef, and you had to like capture and kill like tomatoes and like a burglar that stole all of your like ingredients and shit. It was weird.
Interesting. It sounds like a very bizarre Burger Time.
Burger Time. I don't know if I've ever heard of that one.
Burger Time is an old arcade game. It was kind of in the same vein as I would have to say, what was the oh shit, what was that game? I think it was a Donkey Kong game, but it definitely wasn't the first one. It might have been like Donkey Kong Jr. or something like that.
Okay.
But you basically you have these like ladders that you have to climb,
Uh huh.
and there's these things that come after you. I can't remember what they are. I think they might be like salt shakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But on the different tiers, you've got the different ingredients for the burger.
Hmm.
You got to knock them down in the right order, and you've got to complete like 4 or 5 burgers per level.
So it's like a combination of like those waitressing video or like games and then a platformer. That's pretty
Yeah, a
cool.
little bit, a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds very similar. It was like it was a platformer in the sense of like Donkey Kong, like on an arcade was a
Right.
platformer. It wasn't like a scrolling one. It was like
No, no.
going up, strictly vertical.
Yeah, super tough game.
I can't. I don't. I'm never good at like arcade games. I've I've never been to an arcade and like played an arcade game and been like, yeah, this is fun and I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of arcade games that are super difficult,
Mhm.
especially when you compare them to a lot of like the console versions.
Mm,
Like the arcade version of Tetris, super difficult.
really?
And it's mostly because of the controls, because you have one of those like spin wheels instead of like your super
Oh,
easy like D-pad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like spin wheels, as in like it's like like those golf ones that you see in like all those restaurants where you like spin the golf ball or like the bowling ball or whatever. Like one of
No,
those.
it's not severe. It's not spherical. It's like a little. It's just like a knob that you turn left and right.
Oh, like like original Atari shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I've always wanted to get into like Street Fighter, but I suck at fighting games. Like unless it's like
Me too.
Super Smash Brothers, and even that, like I thought I was good, but when I like played with people that like actually went to like not like big tournaments, but like local tournaments to play, I was like, damn,
Hmm.
my ass hurts.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing like Mortal Kombat with my cousins and stuff as a kid,
Okay.
but I never really got into any fighting games until what was it called? Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe for 360.
Oh, okay.
Me and my brother were living together at the time, and
Hmm.
we had so much fun playing that game.
I guess I don't. If the fact of like combos, that was the hardest part for me.
For sure, yeah.
Like I can't. I have like I have a pretty bad memory right now, anyways. Like I can remember certain things, but not like recall them immediately right off the bat. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah, a lot of it is just like repetition and muscle memory. And if you don't play it enough, it's like those, you're not going to be able to pull off those combos because it's like you have to be like frame perfect timing in order to pull them off.
right. Fuck frames, dude. Have you watched like any like Evo stuff or uh, Street Fighter like tournaments or anything like that?
A little bit. A friend of mine is super into Street Fighter, and he's got like fight sticks and all that.
Really?
And this other guy that I knew had been to tournaments and stuff, and he had some like videos of him playing at tournaments.
Okay.
So I'm familiar,
Right.
but I haven't been any myself.
I I just love like, and this just goes for anything. I just love when like people get their ass clapped after they've been talking mad shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so I love like watching low tier god videos on YouTube, and like just watching him get the shit beat out of him, and then him complaining and people trolling in his chat. It's so funny.
Oh man, when people complain like on stream
Hmm.
or like at a tournament or something and it's recorded like everything they're saying,
Yeah,
it's so cringy to me. It's so cringy.
I know.
It's like almost like oh my god, it's like you're showing everyone just how immature you can be.
You're showing everyone you still wear diapers. At least try and keep those huggies hidden, bro.
Right, exactly. Like go home to your mom and have her make you some tendies.
Chicken tendies, bro.
Yeah.
I love it.
Tendies and Dino Tots.
Hell yeah. I can't remember the last time I had Dino Tots.
I don't think my mom ever made those for me.
Really?
Yeah.
We always had those like they weren't really like tater tots, but like at school those smiley fries.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a video on how to make those on Facebook, and I was like, this is amazing. It's like you're like making whipped cream potatoes and then frying them.
Yeah, it's basically like deep fried mashed potatoes.
Right. And that's like the two of the best things combined ever.
Sure.
I had KFC mashed potatoes today. Pretty solid.
Dude, those taste so good, but they cannot be good for you.
They what? You can't what?
I said they taste so good, but they cannot be good for you.
Oh hell no. When I'm going for like comfort food like that, I'm almost hoping to get my arteries clogged. If my arteries aren't clogging after eating it, it probably wasn't the best meal.
Yeah.
Like I think my favorite food growing up until like when I left for college because I couldn't make them anymore was mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
My dad used to make. I always felt fancy when we ate it because he called them pork steaks, but it's literally just like a T-bone like pork. It's like the same cutlet but off of a pork,
Interesting.
and off of a pork, off of a pig. I
I
don't.
know what you meant.
Yeah. uh, but he used to make it, and all he'd add was like salt, pepper, and then he'd cook them in cream of mushroom soup, and then put it on potatoes.
Interesting.
It was really good.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
My dad didn't cook growing up, like ever.
really.
No.
How do you?
Growing up, it was always like maybe some like rotisserie chicken
Ooh.
and straight from the grocery store with like mashed potatoes and stuff,
Hmm.
or just like meatloaf with green beans,
Okay,
corn, whatever.
still sounds
Stuff
pretty
from
good.
most of it was from a can with like hamburger helper or some shit.
Okay, that's not bad though.
Well,
Did your mom cook?
a little bit.
Okay,
Not really anymore, but
right.
she definitely did growing up because it was, my parents had, 4 kids. They're not gonna
Mhm.
do like pizza every night or anything. It's not affordable to do stuff like that. You gotta cook.
Yeah, as much as your kids want to have pizza every night.
Right.
Yeah. So, are you the oldest, the youngest, or one of the middle?
I am the third of four.
Okay. So you're not quite the youngest.
No, I am the favorite.
The youngest, the younger ones usually are.
Mm-hmm.
I I can't speak for my parents, but it's like every time you hang out with them, they have that look in their eye that's like, you're my favorite. Like I
Yep.
can't say it verbally, but I'm the favorite.
I know I'm the favorite because my aunt let it slip
Oh,
at
really?
like a family reunion one time because I was the only one of my siblings that went,
Mhm.
just me, my parents,
Mhm.
and my aunt is like one of the sweetest people I know.
Okay.
But she totally just like let it slip, and my mom was like, you can't tell him that.
We like Morgan the best.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do I. Well, all right. So I have this topic. I'm begging to talk about.
All right.
What's your favorite? This one is like I have the same question. I have some like lists for like Jake and for you and for Sam
Okay.
of like questions to ask, and this one appears on yours and Sam's. But what's like your favorite? It can be like natural, like psychological phenomenon, or just like what's your favorite like thing that when you hear it just like blows your mind.
Hmm. It's got to be the sheer size of celestial objects.
Okay, so like the
Like
lineup
like
of
just
like
like when you see those videos where it's like it just tries to give you like the scale of the universe. It's like, okay, here's the size of the Earth,
right.
and then like the size of, what is it, Jupiter, that you can fit like 1,000 Earths into it.
Yeah, that's some
And then
fucking
it's like
nasty shit.
here's the sun, which you can fit like 1,300 Jupiters into.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, here's the next biggest star, and it's like twice the size of our sun.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's the next one from that, and it's like 30 times bigger
It's like
than the one previous. And you're like, what? And it just keeps going. Like these stars just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
it's like, you thought your solar system was cool, but then look at that solar system. Like they're so much bigger and cooler than us and it's like thinking like you're in 3rd grade and then you see like the 5th graders and they're like a foot taller than you and you're like, well, I thought it was pretty cool. You're
Right.
like
It's like, and I think it's what, like Betelgeuse, which
the
is
yeah,
like
the
a
star.
million times bigger than our sun.
Oh god.
It's just like fucking. It's like the first huge step beyond, the size of our star,
Right.
and then it just gets incrementally bigger from there. Or not incrementally, but exponentially.
Yeah. That's incrementally would be like, you know, I mean, it's expected.
The opposite of what I was trying to say.
It's a linear relationship.
Right. Doesn't happen sometimes. I just use the completely wrong word.
So, sometimes that makes stuff so much more funny though. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a situation other than like I just said pork instead of like pigs. But like sometimes
At
I
least
just
it was relatively the same thing.
yeah. It's not like I was watching have you ever heard of the show The Good Doctor?
No.
It's I'm trying to think. Have you ever seen August Rush?
Yes.
Okay, so the kid who plays August is like the main character in The Good Doctor, and he plays
Billy Joel Osment.
yeah, and he plays autistic surgeon, but he has I can't remember what like specifically it's called, but he has perfect recall of memory and shit,
Oh,
and so uh, like people don't like him as a surgeon because he's autistic, but he's so fucking smart that like he got in as a surgical resident somewhere. But
interesting.
uh, it's not like it does. The situation doesn't sound funny, but one of his mentors is like fairly old, and he goes out on the date with someone, and he keeps trying to say the word for check, but it turns out he has a brain tumor. I shouldn't laugh at that. Brain tumors are bad to laugh at, but
That's not funny.
he keeps trying to say the right word for check, and keeps saying doorstop, and
Oh no.
Yeah, like it was a sad moment, but that's the situation where it's just not even like the correct word.
Hmm. See, I've had issues like that in the past, like, but funny enough, I actually used to have a brain tumor that they
Right.
removed when I was a kid, but the memory issues I've had are not because of that.
Okay.
Actually, I think when I was 22, which was just over 10 years ago now, I had a seizure,
Mm.
and ever since then, like I've had issues coming up with the right words for things on occasion.
Okay.
Like usually it's like what you're saying, like who is replacing a word, and I won't replace words with the wrong word a lot, but I'll sit and I'll pause for a second, and it'll take me a minute to
Right.
remember what the word is, and it's usually like proper names like that, like pronouns.
Gotcha. Well, that story was supposed to be funny and it took a wrong turn, but hey,
It happens. Dude.
it happens. But I did hear about. I think Sam told me that you had a brain tumor, but
Mhm.
I couldn't remember when. So you had that when you were like a toddler or like a baby.
No, I was like a preteen.
Okay.
So I was like 12, 13.
Okay. And like, did you have brain surgery or did they do chemo and get rid of it?
No, it wasn't cancerous, thankfully. They just went in
Okay.
and took it out.
Okay. Man, brain tumor at what'd you say, like 13, 14?
Yeah, like 12, 13.
Dang. That's intense.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder you're
Yeah,
the
it was.
favorite.
Yeah, needless to say, my mom and I have been through a lot. So,
Yeah. I mean, obviously no one wants to go through that type of situation, but
right.
like it always makes like the people that stick with you are always you always have a special relationship with them after that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's really nice.
Yeah, it is actually super nice to have that closeness through adversity with one
Right.
another.
Right. Well, that's an amazing feat for sure, especially at 12 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really do anything. It was all the doctors and, my family, people taking care of me.
Still, that's a experience that no one wants to go through, but if when you make it through, it's something that's really special.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. Now, when you were younger, did you play any instruments or like go through band or anything like that?
No, I was never really musical. Like I've always really enjoyed music. I've
Hmm.
just never I don't have that inborn gift
Right.
of being musical. I was in choir and I tried to play some instruments. Like started to get into piano a little bit, and I tried to play clarinet a little bit,
Hmm.
and I just wasn't. I didn't have the motivation,
Okay.
so I didn't really care
Right.
to continue that.
Sure. I are there any things that like now that if you could like learn it and pick it up really well, is there something that you would like really specifically like to learn?
I'd probably learn to play the piano for sure.
Okay. I wish I've tried like I wish my parents put me in it at like 4 years old. You know, like
Yeah,
some like kids in the U.S. that are like prodigies now or whatever. Like I don't
for
want to be a
sure, dude.
prodigy, but I want to learn piano at like an age where it's like fun to learn. You know,
Yeah,
nowadays it's just like I don't really want to do this. Like it's just another thing tacked on.
yeah. It's just interesting too because the motivation for that, I feel like most people would want to learn to play the piano not only for like the personal feeling of accomplishment of learning to play an instrument like that,
Right.
but people like to perform.
Hmm.
They like to show their skills to people and
Right.
play music for people and enjoy it. But I'm not really that kind of person.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like my motivation for saying that I would learn the piano in that way is more like I'm kind of a broody person.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
so if I my whole reason for playing piano would basically just be to sit in a room by myself,
Yeah.
brood, and play some dark, uh, old. classical by Chopin or whatever.
That's one way to do it. That's one. That's one
Right.
reason.
Exactly.
That's funny. I just trying to picture you, like having like some video of like Skyrim playing in the background and just. Bah, 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 bah.
I just like put the controller down and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go over here and play this song real quick."
Yeah. I I can see that. I can see that in my mind, and I think it's funny. I tried to start learning piano like my junior year of college,
Hmm.
and I took like one or two like quick lessons from friends that knew how to play, and uh, I I made it like a YouTube video, or not a YouTube video. I like video recorded myself playing, like practicing, and post it like for that self validation,
Hmm.
and I posted it. And I was like, okay, I think this is okay for like a first time, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like keep it up. And then I took that validation and I was like, I know how to play piano. Awesome. And then I left.
It's like I'm gonna just put that self-confidence down in my pocket and I'm gonna keep it there.
Exactly. Save that for a rainy day and just take that on
That's
later.
super funny. That's super funny.
Oh goodness. I played percussion in like from like 5th grade until um until my senior year of high school.
Oh, okay. So you pretty good drummer
Uh I
or
was one of the ones. Yeah,
okay drummer.
I was one of the ones that was like mediocre. Like I loved being there and I liked playing, but like I had no
Hmm.
motivation to like say I want to get like to the next step. I was like, okay, if I learn it, I learn it. If not, then oh well. Like that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So, I was in just sort of like the standard bands going through. There's like the advanced ones that I never made it into or whatever. And I just hated sight reading. So I always memorized everything I was playing.
Yeah,
And
that's something that I would probably do too. Like I wouldn't like playing because I feel like if I'm focusing on the sheet,
mm-hmm.
I'm not playing as well as I could be.
Right. Yeah. And I couldn't look like if they put me on timpani, I'd be fine. Like I could sight
Mm.
read that because there's three things I had to look out for, and they're huge, and I wouldn't miss anything. But uh, like when they put me on xylophone or whatever, it was like I had to memorize. There was no way I could
Hmm.
sight read that at all. But
I feel like would be a super difficult instrument to learn.
yeah, and like I saw like there's a couple people that I played with that like were able to do like the like four mallet like technique or whatever. It sounds like a fucking anime. You haven't seen my four mallet technique yet. I only thought that was available in the but
Take my four mallet arpeggio.
yeah. It just the whole crowd just does that little like, oh gosh. No, but like they'd have like the like two mallets in one hand, and they'd have like in between their like ring finger and pinky, they'd hold one, and then like their index finger and middle finger in the other, and they'd play like you're able to hit two notes at the same time with one hand. Then it was like
Oh, right, right, right.
some like crazy shit going on, and I was like, I can't even sight read. Like, why the fuck are you playing with me? But
You just set off my trap chord.
yeah. Oh god. New anime idea. Get that
Right?
to Funimation.
I think there's already been quite a few of the like classically trained musician animes.
Oh yeah. I want to see like I have to be in the right mood for like something that's not an anime where people are just kicking the shit out of each other.
Oh
But
yeah.
like I really want to try your lie in April. Like
It's really good, but be prepared for it to make you sad.
okay. See like yeah, I'd have to be in like the right mood. I'd have to be in one of your piano playing moods, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I gotcha. I gotcha. I was definitely in one of those moods when I started watching that show.
Okay. I feel like it would just like be one of those things where like I don't cry often, and like I've had like those anxiety issues and stuff like that, but like
Mm-hmm.
in those times where you're just like I need to cry right now. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be like a show that would make me cry.
I don't think I've ever just like gone into my room or whatever and just cried because I felt like crying.
Yeah.
Like there's always been this very specific reason, something that had just happened
Okay.
that made me cry. Like there's things that I'll watch, movies and
Mhm.
whatever that are sad, and I'll tear up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think I let things get to me to the point where that just like builds up in the background.
Okay. Yeah. I don't fucking cry all the time. What are you trying to make me out to be, Morgan? Come on.
No, it's,
No.
I'm just saying like that. I don't. I can't remember the last time when I just felt like I needed to cry
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
I mean, like I've had those times where I'm watching like Naruto, and I'm just like, oh my god, Hinata. And then you get those like little well up of tears, and then you just move on.
You need a tissue there, bud?
Just a little bit, yeah. Okay, one of the few questions I have left. Okay, I already asked where did you two meet. Okay, two questions. One that I'm sure you may have an answer to. Okay, favorite anime.
Oh wow. Um. Hmm. Do movies count?
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay. See,
Absolutely.
I just watched like a new uh like anime movie on Netflix. It was like The Witch with the Red Hair or something.
Hmm.
And
That
that
was really good.
yeah, it was a good one, and it makes me want to watch like stuff like that, or like it's one thing that like one of the hardest things for me to find, like it's not on like Amazon Prime, it's not on like anything legal, and I really want to watch Spirited Away. Like it's like the most generic one to watch, but like I really want to watch Spirited Away.
Yeah, Spirited Away is legit. I
What?
dig any anime that's got like a lot of magic and lore to
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Mushi?
You mean Mushishi?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's it.
Yeah, all those like short stories um based on old like Japanese folk tales.
Right.
Yeah, no, that show is so good.
Yeah, I feel like that's what like that if there is anyone that has a lot of lore behind it, that's like the first thing that would come to my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing one thing I like those types of animes, but like I want more of an introduction to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just sort of jump into it. Like Cowboy Bebop too. Like they just like jump into it. And I
Yeah, they
love
do.
Cowboy Bebop, but like I'm so confused like for the first like 3 or 4 episodes.
Have you seen Trigun?
No. I haven't watched a lot of ones. That's like a mecha type like one, right?
No, Trigun. It's kind of set in like a Western
Oh, okay.
kind of kind of kind of backdrop.
Mhm.
Um, and it's kind of Western and kind of post-apocalyptic, and it's very interesting.
Okay.
Um, but they start off like a lot of animes at the time, super goofy,
Okay.
just to get you in the door and get you used to the personalities of the characters.
Right.
And then as it progresses, it gets more and more and more serious.
Okay.
And it really like it pulls you into the story in a way that I haven't seen other anime do.
Right. That's good though. I
Because you're like, oh, who's this guy getting in these goofy scenarios? Why is he always, you know, getting in himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing?
right.
And then as things develop, you realize like
He's getting into those
why
situations.
he's getting into these situations and he's always got to deal with that.
Right. That sounds like something I'd watch then.
Yeah, it's legit. I definitely recommend it.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, going into our last topic, and my Discord is showing me that I have a red bar. I don't know if you can hear me very well, but
Yeah, you're fine.
okay. I was taking it as a sign, and we're coming up on that hour mark. So, have you ever, or do you remember your best game of Rocket League?
My best game of Rocket League.
For the
Oddly enough, it's probably one of the games that I was playing as a tryout for this team.
okay,
And it was interesting because they had like multiple different tiers of teams based on skill level.
uh huh,
And at the time, I think I was like low diamond,
okay,
and they had some of their higher level players in there playing kind of like a private match with one of the main like organizers,
sure,
and I just trounced all of them.
nice, dude. What like would they be like
Yeah.
champs or like grand champs that played with you or
Yeah, they would probably be like at the time they probably have the skill level of what's now champ 1,
okay,
but they would have been at the time they would have been grand champs because people's skill levels are ramping up like crazy since
right? I think the watching. So how long have you been playing Rocket League?
then.
Not like play time,
Good
but like for
question.
how like since when did you start?
I'm not sure actually. Um, I don't know if I have an answer for that question. I don't remember when I started.
Gotcha. Is that like over a year?
I think so.
Okay. So I think like any like a year or more, you can really see sort of like the skill levels of people that are playing go up, and like
Oh yeah, for sure.
you don't really notice it until like you're watching someone else play that often. Like I can't say that I've like played Overwatch or like played Rocket League and like when I'm playing really noticed like okay like I'm getting to like this level of play or like I'm getting to like diamond level play or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like when you're playing with either someone that's better than you and you're keeping up when you used to not keep up or like uh, anything like that, it's just really cool to sort of see like how the game's progressing and what sort of new things people are coming out with and stuff like
So
that.
I just did a quick search through my email. It looks like the oldest email that I've got referencing something that I bought in Rocket League.
Hmm.
There was a DLC that I bought, and it was August 2015.
Holy shit! I don't think I even knew what Rocket League was at that time. That's a it's a long way to experience that.
Right.
But yeah, I think Rocket League's one of those games where you can really tell sort of the community's uh, ability has gone up a lot since the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Morgan. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining me on our very first episode as our very special guest.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I hope that the tangerines and the popcorn was delicious for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to stop it there, guys. Join us next time on our next episode. Hopefully, Jake will be able to join us, and we'll be able to interview our co host for the first time. Take care, and remember, eat something tasty.